I want to bring in NBC's Gabe Gutierrez, who covers the White House for us. David Fahrenthold is a New York Times reporter who's reported some fascinating details about Doge's work. And Michael Steele is a former RNC chairman, MSNBC political analyst, and co-host of MSNBC's The Weekend. Okay, Gabe, catch us up if you can. I know it was wide-ranging and it went on for a while, but the highlights or at least the news-making elements of that cabinet meeting.
Oh, hi there, Chris. Well, yes, there is a lot to unpack here, but we'll start with those Doge cuts that you mentioned. It was Elon Musk, as you said, that really started out this cabinet meeting and spoke for the first chunk of it. Then President Trump took over and controlled the rest of the meeting, repeating many of the talking points that we've heard before and defending this shrinking of the federal government. But of course, Chris, this comes as just today we're hearing that the Office of Personnel Management is sending this memo to department heads and agency heads telling them to prepare for large-scale reductions and that all agency heads should be prepared for a large-scale reorganization plan by March 13th. Now, I want to play what some of President Trump had to say defending his cuts to the federal government just a short time ago.
One of the most important initiatives is Doge, and we have cut billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're looking to get it maybe to $1 trillion. If we can do that, we're going to start getting to be at a point where we can think in terms of balancing budgets, believe it or not, something you haven't heard in many, many years, decades actually. And it's a big, whether it's this year or next year, I think we'll be very close to balancing budgets.
Of course, we should know, Chris, what the president said about cutting nearly $1 trillion, or at least billions of dollars so far. It's unclear exactly how much Doge has cut because they have not provided extensive evidence to back that up. But I should make some other points, Chris, on a lot that came out of that cabinet meeting. There was also discussion of Ukraine and the war in Ukraine. The president, for the first time, bluntly saying that that Ukraine could, quote, forget about NATO membership. Also talking about, he was asked once again what he believed Russia should give up in these negotiations. He said he didn't want to comment on that. So some more discussion about the war in Ukraine. Some other things. The Agriculture Secretary, Brooke Rollins, said that when it comes to rising egg prices, that the U.S. was considering importing eggs from other countries and also from Health and Human Services. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says that the U.S. government is monitoring that measles outbreak in Texas. Those are just some of the things that came up during this hour-long cabinet meeting, the first of the administration, which just wrapped up a few minutes ago, Chris.
All right, thank you for that. A nice wrap-up. David, I want to play a little bit more of what Elon Musk had to say.
We bring the receipts. So people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to doge.gov. We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect. But when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly.
So we have billions and billions and trillions of dollars. Look, you wrote a great investigative story. You dug deep into the cuts. Tell us what you found. Fact check these kinds of statements for us.
Well, what we found was when Doge started that wall of receipts that Musk was talking about, the 5 biggest cuts on that original list were all wrong. And they were wrong in two ways that are important. One, they were wrong in ways that made the cuts seem much, much bigger than they actually were, sometimes by like a factor of 1,000. And also, they were wrong in ways that showed that Doge did not really know what it was looking at. It didn't understand federal contracts. You know, it triple counted one. It mistook billions for millions in another case. They just seemed to be making very basic errors about the data they were dealing with, which raises questions about how they're dealing with a lot of other data where, that we can't see them using.
So, Michael, I mean, the other thing that strikes me is that both Elon Musk and President Trump talk about these people who are not even alive or who never maybe were alive and who are getting paychecks. But I'm still waiting to see something posted on that site that says, we have found this number of people. Look, clearly, the cabinet secretary sat there and listened to Elon Musk, unconfirmed, unelected. What do you make of both the power dynamic, and do you think that the American people are going to buy what they're selling?
I don't know about the latter part so much. I mean, that's changing in quarters as folks on the ground begin to experience more and more of what DOGE isn't. It is not a government efficiency operation. It is not, designed to spare those who are directly impacted by these decisions. But the first part is notable, Chris, in so many ways. You have this unelected man standing there dominating the room. He is the most important person in that room, and that includes the President of the United States.
You really believe that he is more important than Donald
Trump? The fact that he was the first to speak, that the President didn't set the tone for the meeting, the President didn't lay out why they were there and what and then say, let's talk about some of the things that we're doing. This is where we start. The second thing that, for me, that's important to note, that this sort of crazy question is, so some of y'all are upset with Musk and what he's doing. Who are you, right? We all know who they are. It's been reported who they are. It's been reported that certain departments have told their folks, ignore that last email that came from this idiot about telling you what you did last week, right? So the fact that that question was asked was designed to check them. And the fact that they just sat there like little lemmings and applauded the moment that more and more of their power was sucked away from them and affirmed by Elon Musk standing there is significant. Now, I know a lot of folks are going to, take exception to what I said about who the most powerful man in that room is. But I'm sorry, I'm watching the dynamics. I'm listening to how this is laid out. If I'm the President of the United States, I'm not letting him talk first. I'm not letting him stand up over my table. And I'm damn sure not letting him come into my house wearing his hat, which again shows, that he can get away. Yeah, the MAGA stuff on the headline. But if you're serious about how you're going to streamline the government and make the government more efficient, then you put serious people in place to do that. You don't have unelected individuals, 19-year-olds, going and inserting themselves into these institutions in a way in which, to be honest, on the back end of this, we don't know what Musk and his team is planting inside our government systems that they can access through back doors later on. We don't know that. And to the listing of all the, quote, savings, well, we've already shown that that's a lie. And so it's just this cabinet moment reminded me of the first Trump cabinet, when he had everyone sit around the table and tell him how much they loved him. This is the next version of this, is telling them not only how much we love you, but how loyal we are to you, but especially to what DOGE is trying to do in the form of Elon Musk.
Yeah, so Michael, there's been some back and forth over the last several days about who actually is in charge of DOGE, but also Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's the chair, right, of the DOGE subcommittee. She's making headlines for the criticisms that she has of Democrats who have been defending the federal workforce against allegations that they're a bunch of slackers or they need to justify their existence. Anyway, let me play what she had to say.
You can protest all you want, but the American people disagree with you. You're protecting the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy is not a business. Those are not real jobs producing federal revenue. By the way, they're consuming taxpayer dollars. Those jobs are paid for by the American tax people who work real jobs, earn real income, pay federal taxes, and then pay these federal employees. Federal employees do not deserve their jobs. Federal employees do not deserve their paychecks.
Maybe I'm confused, but isn't she a federal employee, Michael? I'm pretty sure
she's a federal. Yes. She's the level of stupid there is untenable, and the fact that she's the chair of this subcommittee should tell you everything you need to know. She is a federal employee. The American people don't agree with what's happening. Every piece of polling that's coming out shows a significant majority, which tells me Republicans don't agree with this. And I want her to go have that town hall meeting and look the poor folks in her district in the eye and tell them that the federal employees that are helping to provide their grandmama's Social Security and the SNAP food program receipts that they're getting, that they're unworthy and they're not significant and important. So this is where we are, Chris, and the country is going to have to grapple with the wholesale onslaught against the government and the mess that's being left in its wake, because this is not going to get undone easily. As long as you have individuals like that sitting with power and control over how this plays out.
So, David, look, we don't know how much money is being saved, if any money is being saved, and it's been pointed out multiple times that it's a very small part of the budget that goes to federal employees anyway. So if you're really serious about saving money, you look elsewhere. Having said that, do we know how much Elon Musk has benefited from the kinds of government spending that he's now trying to cut?
He's benefited hugely. Elon Musk has billions and billions of dollars worth of contracts. First of all, he used government subsidies to get started at Tesla. There was sort of key government subsidies that helped him get that company off the ground. But also he gets billions of dollars of contracts mostly with his company SpaceX, to launch rockets, to provide satellite internet service. He is a major government contractor. So yes, he's cutting budgets he's trying to cut budgets across the government. But so far I haven't seen any indication that he's cutting something that would mean less revenue for his businesses.